Welcome back to Lower Keys Living, everybody. And what an epic weekend we've had down here. Actually, it's been an amazing couple of weeks with the weather wise, water quality wise, but this weekend was just incredible. We made the run out to the wall or the ledge about 30 miles out, just under 30 miles out from Cudjoe, to look for big game mahi out in the Gulf. Just kind of ledge, got a little further out. We put our lines in about 800 feet of water, about a quarter mile from the wall. And it wasn't 30 seconds. We got the first fish on. This is a nice fighting barracuda that we got on. So ended up with the barracuda, first fish on the boat, got the skunk off the boat early on. It was really nice. This guy got him right under the fin. We ended up putting him back in the water. He was totally fine. But yeah, first fish on, it was a great start because we literally had just dropped the lines in the water after the long run out here to the ledge. So good sign. I'm always amazed at how prevalent the barracuda are out here. I always think of them more of a reef fish, shallow water fish, but nope, they are out here in the deep water. But as soon as we crossed the ledge, got to about 2,100 feet of water, it was game on. We had some great fishing action out here, and it was all about mahi. And even the schoolie mahi what we're getting into out here were great, nice size, and super healthy. They put up a great fight. So even the smaller ones in that 28 to 30 inch range were great fighting fish. But we did get into some larger mahi out here, which we'll see in just a few moments. But came out, my neighbor's sons were down visiting them, Jack and Jack. So I got the Jacks on board. They decided to come on out with me, and it was really nice having a few extra hands on the boat, especially trolling through all the weed patches. And they were just so excited to get into some mahi. Again, so nice having some great people out on the boat with me today. But again, this was all the action, and you can look at the water out here. Again, we're in 2,300 feet of water. It's like a sheet of glass out here, 30 miles out from shore, and these are the conditions we're in. Couldn't ask for anything nicer. And I believe this is the first mahi we brought on board today, and I love these fish. One, they are great eating. They put up a great fight, but just the color, I don't think there's a fish that's prettier, a big game fish that's prettier than these. Great fighting fish. And I'm really going to be embarrassed here at my gaffing skills. I was trying to hold the line in one hand. This guy was fighting, swimming squirrely all over the place, and I cannot believe how many times I missed this fish. Don't hold that against me. I'm usually pretty good at this. I was really surprised at what a hard time I was having, and also really lucky we did not lose this one. But we ended up getting this fish on board. Eventually, I finally hooked her and got her on board. It was not the prettiest gaff, but we got her, and first nice mahi on board, and then the cooler. And again, that one she measured out just over 31 inches, so good sized fish. But again, the fish out here, I'm so impressed at how healthy these fish are. Sometimes this late in the season in the really warm water, they're getting a little sluggish, not seeming to be moving all that well. But man, every fish we got on out here was a great fighting fish. So that's our first mahi on. It was just a few minutes later, and we had two fish on at once. So Jack on the right and Jack on the left both had mahi on. I could definitely tell the one on the right here was the bigger one, and we can see this one jumping. It was a great fight all the way in. So I kind of ignored the other Jack. He ended up getting his fish on without any assistance. But again, two good mahi on board, and this is kind of the story of the day. It was just so nice out here. Lots of really good fishing action. And again, so glad to get into them because I've made trips all the way out here. We are making this long run out and not catching anything or nothing worth keeping. But again, this was a great day. That was not the case today. And again, you can see the other Jack's working on his fish. Jack on the right is working on his fish. And you'll see this as we get in, and I believe this one takes off. You get some great jumps out of the fish. So I've said this before in the videos. Usually you got mahi on when they are jumping. The mahi jump, the blackfin tuna, barracuda, they tend to dive down. You're not going to see them in the water. Mahi I've had go both ways. Sailfish are great jumpers and great surface fighters. They'll make runs down, but you can really almost always tell what kind of fish you have on. But you see, this guy sees the boat and he is having nothing. He's fighting like mad. Just so much fun. And the camera's not doing justice to how big this guy was. This is a really nice bull that we've got on here. And fortunately, I did a much quicker job and a more professional job of gaffing this one. You can see the other Chris already has his fish on. It's down in the boat. You'll see that one here in just a second. But yeah, we are high-fiving each other. That was such a great fight with this fish. So happy to get this one on board. And I just pleased that these guys got to catch some great fighting fish out here. And didn't get a good shot of this one, but Jack 1 is holding this guy up. Super proud of that one. That was a nice fight. That took a bit of work to get this guy into the boat. So that's the bull, and you'll see the cow here on the floor in just a second when we put these guys down. I believe I got shots of both of them. Yeah, there's the cow down on the floor. So again, the two fish on at once, both over 30 inches, and both really great fighting fish. So we continued out here. We fished this till the mahi went away. Just got some nice fish on board. We only had one mahi that wasn't keeper size. Let that one go, and that was pretty early on. The rest of the day was really nice, good size fighting fish. So just a great afternoon out here, out in the deep water. It almost made us want to just keep cruising and head over to Havana for the evening, but again, had to go back in. Here is another one that Jack 1 got on board, and this was a great fight. This one took us a while to get to the boat, and you'll see this one coming in, but you'll just see the color under the water on these guys. And again, just a great fight. These fish were so strong and so healthy, putting up a really nice fight. And you'll see this guy, we finally get him to the edge of the boat. You'll start seeing the color, but man, when he sees the boat and starts getting in close, he really freaks out and he is just gonna be gone. It's one thing I tell people when you're fishing for mahi, they've got really soft mouths, so you got to keep that tip up, keep pressure on all the time. And there you can see the color in the water, and we could see how big this fish was. We were really excited with this one. Jack did an amazing job fighting this guy all the way to the boat. There you go, you can see, look at him fighting, he just sees the boat. I go to grab the line so I can gaff him, and you can see he's right there, and I thought he was ready to give up, but he made one last lunge right there, and he was gone. There was just a little bit of his lip on the hook, but he pulled that out, and he was gone. But that's the way it is. That's why it's called fishing. But we had plenty of fish on board, and it was just a fun, exciting fight. And then we decided to head in. We had enough for the day. And of course, if you're watching my videos, you know I almost stop and I'll troll over the top of the Fred Perry and the Wilkes-Barre on our way in. And sure enough, right over the top, and lures were directly over the top of the Wilkes-Barre. The lines went off and had a fish on. So Jack 2 got to fight this one and bring this one in. I was hoping it'd be a blackfin tuna because on the radio here people were catching some blackfin out there, but this is a bonita. Again, beautiful fish. These are one of the other really pretty fish in the water. Just love their designs, love what they look like, and they're great fighting fish. They are just horrible to eat. So this guy went back to the sea. I always keep one or two in these in the freezer because I will use them for bait and chunking, and I'll use them for baiting my crab traps during stone crab season. But this is a lucky one. He's lucky I had fish in the freezer already, and he is going back in. And that was it. That was our Saturday. So that was Saturday, which was action-packed. This is Sunday. And I'm just showing you this really quick because I talked in my last video about using a nice long chain, a heavy chain. You can see that chain goes up and down with the boat, and the chain segment doesn't even pull on the anchor. But back to Sunday. Yesterday was an action-packed day with my friends out fishing. Lots of fishing action. Sunday, a ZEN day, and a nice relaxing Sunday out on the water with my wife. We came out to one of our favorite spots out on the reef, about 7 miles out, and just love this location. And no sooner had we got in the water than we came across this guy out here feeding on the grass. And this video doesn't even come close to doing this guy justice. He was so big. I need to show this to some people at one of the marine agents agencies down here because I do not know turtles really well. I would love to have an idea how old this guy was or gal, but he was big. I have never seen a turtle with a head so big. Honestly, you can't tell from this, but it was probably a foot and a half across the size of his head. Just enormous. And I'm not sure what cracked his shell. I don't know if that was a boat strike, maybe a shark bite a long, long time ago. Doesn't seem to be hindering or hurting him at all. And looks like there's lots of growth over the top of it. So it was a while ago. So he or she's been doing just fine. And again, I don't even know how to tell you the gender of a turtle, but just so cool. They are so peaceful to see out here. And again, this is one of my favorite locations to come. And you can see that animals, the fish out here are not very timid. It's just a real peaceful area, and these coral heads. Again, this is one of my favorite spots, and there's a reason why I just don't share this location with people. It just doesn't get many visitors, which I think contributes to the health of the coral. You can see there's actually some color in the purple fan coral out here, which you just don't see that often out here in the reefs that are overrun, and just from the uh, warming water temperatures. But it was good to see that there's a little bit of color in here on some of these. Some of them have browned out, but the bases still had purple into it. But again, I come out here because of these massive coral heads. The area that we're in is about a square mile, maybe a little less than that. And there are hundreds of these giant coral heads in here. And one of my favorite lobstering spots, we came out, we got a few lobsters out of here. But when I'm around this coral, super careful that I never touch the coral. I can use the tickle stick to get the lobsters out of there or lasso them in there, but I'm not grabbing onto the coral. So you can see there are a couple little lobster legs, a small guy down in that crack. Didn't get a good view of him there, but just passed over. I looked at him a few times when I wasn't videoing, just realized he was not going to be a keeper size. But again, you can see how nice this is and why I come out here. And again, this is a great area for spearfishing and fishing. Just see so much life in this area. And again, if you do come out to spots like this, whether it's here or anywhere where you can see coral heads, you get this open bottom, please don't anchor out in these areas by the coral. One, you're not allowed to. You can't anchor on coral. Find the grass and use the appropriate anchor so you lock right in and you're not tearing the grass up. Even on a calm day like today, there's a bit of wind. You're going to drag a Danforth anchor through the grass and tear it up. But again, this is why I like this area. You got this nice little hogfish here. He was about 12, 14 inches long, but really not spooked. Again, there's so few people come out here. The wildlife is not really afraid of you, with the exception of the lobsters. Man, the lobsters get tucked in here really well. So this is one of the spots I came out on opening day for opening lobster season. It was packed with lobsters. Plenty of lobsters and actually I know this ledge really well, got a few keepers out from underneath here. There's nothing in there today. But this area, there's such a huge grass field out here. The grass field is covered in lobster pots. So the lobstermen are taking their fair share of lobsters out here. Plus, we got through mini season, the opening week of lobster season, and I do know there's a couple of locals that I know that come out to this spot as well for lobstering. But again, it's nice. This is not a tourist spot. You're not getting a lot of the tourists and visitors down here. It is out of the way to get out here. So it's what keeps this area relatively pristine and well preserved. And you can see the difference of what human traffic does to our coral reefs. They are fragile and they take a lot of care and a lot of knowledge on how not to interfere and harm these corals. But the biggest thing is the lack of visitors. So I'm going to spend a few minutes here floating around these coral heads with you. If you don't want to look at coral heads and wildlife that's in here, skip ahead because when we got done with this, we went around to the deep side of the coral reef, which is even more spectacular. We didn't snorkel over there because my wife can't really snorkel very deep. It bothers her ears. But that area was packed with lobsters. Still, people hadn't been out there, and the coral reef is even more alive, just gorgeous. But we went out and just off the reef where it drops off a little bit to about 20, 25 feet of water. We anchored up there, and you can see my screen with all the yellowtail that are in there. And I've got a whole nother video coming up of that yellowtail session, because it was one of the most epic yellowtail fishing experiences I've had in all the time I've been down here. So you can jump ahead to that mark, 18-minute mark, if you want to skip this. But otherwise, I'm going to be just floating around and exploring this and sharing the coral heads that are out here. I do want to say that there are dozens of places like this on the Atlantic side. This one, I keep to myself. There's some others that I've shared where they are, but there are a number of places that are just like this. Just take the time and look for them when you're out. And I love these little coral heads. I can sit there and stare at these little fish communities on each coral head forever. It's what I enjoy, what relaxes me. I mean, I love the fishing. Love lobstering, but snorkeling, diving, and just looking at the wildlife out here is probably my favorite thing to do down here. I just feel so blessed that this is where I live. This is what my weekends are like down here, getting out here on the water and just enjoying all of this. And especially when I can do it with my wife, my family, and there's nobody else around. We were out here in the water for hours today, not another boat in sight, and just had this all to ourselves. And you couldn't have asked for a nicer day. And again, you can just see how many of these small and large coral heads are out in this particular area. So get out and explore, see what you can find. They are out here. You can find these. A lot of these are shown on maps. This particular one really doesn't show you this spot on maps. It's not really marked very well, which I think, again, thinks what keeps this so special and keeps it so pristine. And again, you can see just all the fish in here, and it gets even better. Like I said, out on the deep side of this particular reef, it is really spectacular, even more vibrant coral. And I did see the purple fan coral had a lot more color to it. And I didn't video out there today when I was over there. I just jumped in for a few minutes to check it out while we were setting up for our yellowtail. We had just gotten the chum line going, so I was waiting for that to kick in. But I will bring you some of that footage, and again, the yellowtail fishing experience in my next video, because it was incredible. I'll show you my fish finder screen. You can just see what was underneath the boat within about 15 minutes of getting the chum bags in the water. So again, hope you had a wonderful weekend. We'll have more fishing videos coming up, and come see us again soon here on Lower Keys Living. Looking forward to seeing you back here on our next video.